Hey guys, welcome to this episode of Context is King. I'm Rebecca Brayton, and with me as always is WatchMojo CEO and founder Ashkan Karbasfrooshan to discuss Motley Crue, obviously. Why wouldn't we be discussing Motley Crue?
That's from their outfit, I believe that's true.
See, that's what we did there. The article you sent me is called "The Sexist Metal Scene in the Dirt is Accurate," female execs say, from Variety. So you think there's going to be backlash against the movie?
No, not against the movie.
Not against the movie.
Not against the movie.
Okay.
The movie is super well received. I think fans probably think it was tame. Anyone with a memory, I mean, I wasn't alive partying there with them, but I mean, it was the era. What I think is the backlash is this fact that people are shocked that they're like, oh, in the Me Too movement, which I strongly support, long overdue for the a-holes that should get, destroyed because they were committing crimes. But I think that we've gone now way too far where I feel like if you're doing a historical biopic on Motley Crue and they were in the 80s, well, you got to be authentic to the era. Like if you do something on a blues guitarist in the 1920s, there's going to be racism. If you talk about like a German in the 1940s, there's going to be some Nazis roaming the streets, right? So if you're going to be doing something on Motley frickin' Crue, there's going to be some drugs. There's going to be some naked woman doing So I feel like if you were actually a victim of the Me Too movement or like a Harvey Weinstein, and also there's a lot of people that would even, the Bourdain's ex, I'm sure she was a very, innocent gal in all of this. But like my point is, it's very unfair to me that like people who were really victims, who didn't ask for certain things, are now lumped into groupies basically. So like the Variety article, and she's doing her job writing, and I don't want to bash her, but she's coming out and basically saying like this is horrible, and how could Netflix be so tone deaf?
That was not my takeaway from the article.
That's what she said. She was basically interviewing a bunch of people and saying it's as if Netflix has been kind of head in the sand, and they decided to come out despite everything in the Me Too era and go and glamorize this era.
I felt that she was more just questioning it, but.
Well, there were quotes in there that people were basically saying, but it's just ridiculous. And you know what? Regardless of one's feelings on Donald Trump, the Russia report and all that, I think you are starting to see a bit of a regression to the mean where, people are like, well, you know what, let's not lump everybody together. There's a very big difference between Harvey Weinstein and Vince Neil, right? I mean, Vince Neil, Nikki Sixx, Tommy Lee, Mick Mars. Well, Mick Mars was tame, but, he was in bed, like. But you know what that's the visuals. But I mean, these were rock stars. They had groupies throwing themselves at them. I'm not saying that they were particularly nice, and I wasn't a fan of the Crue. I liked others in that era. But I mean, they were horrible to the woman, but they're also horrible to the men. They freaking slept with Pete Davidson's character's girlfriend, apparently, and I'm guessing that's true. So I think to wrap up groupies in the 80s with the Me Too movement is just such a disservice to journalism. And again,
the article didn't.
It's just bullshit. I'm tired. It's going to be a backlash, and I feel the problem is then legitimate cases where innocent people are hurt physically, verbally, sexually. You can't lump that with a groupie in the 80s who gave a blowjob to Tommy Lee. Like this is crazy.
But the article was talking to like female execs from the music industry who were. Poison was specifically mentioned in that article as assholes, but.
Okay, but the reality was, these execs, many of whom I know, many of whom have throughout their career now run companies and we work with, and I know many of them, they voluntarily accepted to be part of a culture and like this by and large, it's like saying I'm going to go to the military, but I don't like bullets. If you're going to be like part of like the industry, it is part of it.
That's a tough thing to.
So you want Vince Neil to act like, I was going to say like a priest, but that's probably worse. You don't want him to act like a priest. But it goes par for the course. It's a bit like saying I want to be an athlete, but I don't want to be in a bus to go from town to town. It's not PC, but that's reality. Like these are rock stars. These are, rappers. It comes with the territory. I'm not saying it's right. That's the key, right? I'm not saying it's good behavior. I don't want to be around rockers. I was never.
But should it be like that?
But it's
so that women basically can't be.
No, they can, and women could absolutely say this is bullshit. There was that same article had something where a woman was going to threaten to sue the label or the I think the Crue, and she decided not to.
No, I think it was the Poison thing.
The Poison thing. Sorry, yeah, it was the basis. The basis. You're right. They can call it out, but I'm just saying that to equate that with everything else that's wrong with society, when you're doing a biopic of an era, is what I find a bit weird. My point is that. I'm not saying bring back that behavior, to be clear. All I'm saying is if you're going to do a movie, this is why Netflix is crushing it. If you're going to be doing a movie about the 80s, absolutely, you should talk about the sex, drugs, and the addiction, and like how that's bad and good and all that. That is what people want to see.
That's the problem with the movie. Yes, I agree with you that
the movie was tame.
The movie was tame, yes, but
it was good, but it was tame.
Good is a relative term.
You didn't find it entertaining for what it was?
It was fine. It was whatever. But I think it glamorized the behavior versus showing the problems with it.
Well, I mean, it's like when Duff McKagan doesn't have a pancreas because it blows up because as a member of Guns N' Roses, he drank bottles of vodka and did cocaine. I don't know how much it glamorizes if you mention that. Same way if Nikki Sixx ends up dying for a few minutes and they need to jam
I know, but then he was right back at it. Like,
but
and I
it
know
wasn't
that's
that he
what
was
happened.
glamoring, but he was basically saying that's when I realized it was rock bottom. Like if the overdose was in rock bottom, then afterwards ODing again.
Yeah, I know.
But that's reality, right? And that's the fact.
I know, but it's the way they portrayed it I think that people have a problem with.
But here's, okay, so we got into this discussion the day after I saw it, and we basically compared The Dirt with Bohemian Rhapsody. So Bohemian Rhapsody wanted to make Freddie Mercury look like a little bit queer.
Well, that's what I think that both of these movies are problematic in terms of how they told the story.
One is more representative of reality. Neither.
Fair.
Sorry?
Fair.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. But again, I don't want the takeaway to be. My ultimate conclusion is Netflix is crushing it because they have the courage and conviction to do a movie like this and not be afraid by a vocal minority that in the end, don't watch the movie. Like vote with your eyeballs or your wallet. Two, if you're going to cover such a topic, you can't take out the drugs. You can't take out the sexism and the bad behavior.
I don't think anybody's asking them to do that.
But that's kind of the saying. You should
that
read
wasn't
the article.
I did read the article.
Context is king. I guess we look at it differently. And then finally, I thought it was entertaining.
I didn't say it wasn't. But okay, no, but I was conflicted in one scene.
Which one?
The scene where Tommy punches his girlfriend.
Why? If he did it, he had a violent temper. He was
I know.
anger
No,
management.
I know. I mean,
he did the
we all
same thing
know
with
that.
Pamela Lee. I think
know.
the only reason why they didn't do it with Pamela Anderson Lee and with this relative unknown Posolene groupie is because my wife is Greek, so I'm kind of half Greek. But I think the issue is you have to cover that. I don't.
No, again, no, it wasn't that. It was
And
just like
Tommy Lee
it's
being an
because they
executive
made me
producer.
side with Tommy. That's the problem. Because they made her seem horrible.
Yeah, because she said the mom's a
yeah.
basically, yeah.
I believe that's going to get bleeped, but anyway.
But
that's the problem.
here's the thing. Audiences, people can't be hypocrites. If you want the band to sign off on it and be involved and make it somewhat accurate, then yes, you're going to inject their point of view, right? In the same way that when like Brian May, fine guitarist, brilliant man, says, "Oh yeah, we're going to do a movie about Queen," and the lead singer dies, but then the movie goes on for another 2 hours, and the Borat fella is like, "No, that makes no sense. When Freddie Mercury dies, the movie is over." You know what I mean? So that's the problem, that here, they were not going to, Tommy Lee was not going to sign off on this. It was like, well, if you're going to include that I had this temper issue, that yes, I also in parallel, the cops showed up because I freaked out Pamela Lee and our kids, well then make the girl call my mom a then that's the way that I don't look as horrible. It still directionally gives you a sense that these guys were coked out of their mind. They were bad dudes, and they surrounded themselves with bad dudes. And I feel like in that case, Netflix and the story and everybody does their job well. Now, is it perfect? No, but it was pretty darn good.
Agree to disagree. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments, and we will see you next time.